Hello, everybody. Today I'll be breaking down Andrew versus Will. This was the first match of our qualifiers. Now, right off the rip here, I'm really liking Andrew's posture here. So, got real short, hands down. Will's approach, pretty standard, standing straight up and down. Now, let's see the footwork base. So, this is a talk about mentally engaging with the fight and your intent to be ready from the moment the bell rings. Let's look at Andrew's base here and then Will's base. So Will walks straight in, Andrew's in his stance. Now that I see that Will opens up with that right teeth feint, I'm more inclined to believe that that approach was more of a disposition feint. That is to say, using his body language and his pace to create shock. If we go back, let's look at that whole approach then. Will runs something called a comfortable environment where he's he wants you to feel safe. So he approaches in an unassuming way, and then he throws that right teep. Let's see how that works out for him. And it stops Andrew in his tracks. And then he throws a second feint, a third feint, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. And out of those 10, let's see, the hook seemed to touch, the cross seemed to touch, and then that last jab seemed to touch. So definitely showing some really great humility here, some really great intent to set up his strikes. Andrew's response, let's take a look at that. Andrew does his best to get his hand on that jab. Get his hand on that hook to touch. Now, one of the downsides to approaching short is that a lot of people are not afraid of short people. And that's fine. We can capitalize on that. However, Andrew started catching some heat there right toward the beginning as a result of making himself short. Will was able to start to punch down on him. We, generally speaking, don't like fighting uphill. So Andrew gets his first touch there, and that's going to be a pattern we're going to see through the rest of the fight here. So let's see what happened here. So Will kind of shifts forward real hard to touch Andrew with that jab. You can see Will's weight is on this right leg, on that front lead leg here. And then as he switches back, let's see if I can show you there. As he switches back, he's not gonna control the air at all. You see that? So there's just free airspace there. And so he stands up tall and then sits back down into his stance. So it kind of makes his stance switch slow. And I just kind of see the weight shift is too far back. His front foot's off the ground. He steps forward or plants that way, and Andrew's able to get that first touch. Andrew does a good job getting control of the air, getting a little bit tall to make it threatening to approach, but then Will's able to take it straight back here. Bang. Oof. That's interesting. So he's able to use that same shift of weight that allowed Andrew to get that first touch to set up a teep to the leg to break Andrew's base a little bit. Andrew does his best to get his hand on it. Now that's important. So something my coach would say to me is defense is an effort statistic. That means of all the strikes you defend, it's really indicative of how hard you tried to not get hit. And Andrew does a great job getting his hand on that tee. Andrew's fainting on this disengagement. Well, check this out. This is also going to be a pattern we're going to see throughout the match. But check it out. All this free real estate. Let's look how. Watch this. So Andrew takes one step back. Also, he took his front foot first. So let's see how that plays out for him. Because he takes his front foot first. Will is like on top of him. Do you see how he gained ground there as soon as Andrew stepped back with his front foot first? Will's able to gain ground, taking his front foot first again, and the gap just keeps closing. Oof, tight in here. And also, he's taken 3 steps back at this point. Look at all this space here. Because he's staying right in front of Will, he gives Will a chance to continue to launch his offensive systems. Again, front foot first, unfortunate. That's something we work on in drills. Just take your back foot first. So that, once you get to the point where your attention is elsewhere, you take the correct foot first. Yeah, but 4 steps back and then he just freezes kind of here in this corner. Dang, look at that. Look at all of the space that he could have come out into. And me, as the ref here, I would have moved kind of over here. Yeah, he would have had the space to do it. But then he walks himself toward the wall. Oof, I feel trapped. Now look at that. Look, he tries to make an effort to move laterally, and guess what? Will gives up his back. Can you see the foot position here? But then Will throws one feint out, and then Andrew kind of gives up that position again. And now off to his right would make a lot of sense. Oh, and then so Will makes the decision to make his way back to center. Check this out. Yeah. And so now Will has control of the center. However, let's look at that approach toward the center. So weight's overextended, takes his front foot first back. So switches, that's fine, but then this crosses over, front foot's too high, and now he's back in here. And watch what happens as a result of that. Andrew's ready to work on every single one of those steps. So then, as Will approaches naked with this hook, there's no feints behind it, unlike earlier. So check it out. Earlier, Will threw out 10 feints, gave him the time to throw his strikes, to throw his offense. He did what he needed to. Unfortunately, he did not do that here. So Andrew was able to capitalize on that touch Will with that rear leg. Andrew takes his back foot first, exiting back now. Great, good. And that gives him, check it out, 1 step. Very simple defense, very simple defense. Fundamental step back. 1. There. Back foot first. Excellent. And he's out of range. Unlike earlier, right? So we got to take our back foot first when we exit backwards or we get tagged on the way out. So Will capitalizes here. Again, as I mentioned earlier, fighting uphill kind of sucks. So, well, the inverse of that is fighting downhill. It's kind of breezy. So Will does a great job here punching at the air and then grabbing the hand. Very physical. Very nice. Very nice. And look at this posture here. Very athletic. Hips are loaded. This is great. Pushes the hand out of the way. Gives him time to touch that leg. Now, we were wearing shin guards, but I was talking about this with one of the other athletes that, you know, if you know how to throw these low kicks and you decide you want to target the knee kind of the way Will did here. I don't know if he was trying to screw up Andrew's knee or what, or if that was just kind of where he landed, but you start smacking the side of someone's knee, give it 3, 4 kicks, they're going down. A professional example of this would be Liam Harrison versus Nong O. Go watch that fight. Middle of the second round, Nong O touches Liam with that kick after after a round and a half. Liam Harrison's knee just caves, man. So Andrew tries to take back the momentum with the double jab forward. Will punches the air. Look at that. Look at that exchange. So here, physical control here. He tries to control, and then a punch up high, downhill, stops that. And because Will got Andrew to freeze for a moment. He was able to see that low kick come, defended effectively. Now that cool. So now we're check it out. So now Will's looking at that right low kick because Andrew's been throwing that for the last 59 seconds. And then he goes up to the body, uncontested kick. So now that was something that Andrew could have used, right? So spontaneously there in that moment, he's thinking, I want to hit you. You blocking those, we're gonna hit you up in the body. Yeah, let's see if he capitalizes on that later. Well, you can check this out. I mean, look at that. Definitely caught Will unprepared. Look at that body posture. Oh, okay, and then right out. So, once again, the issue of lateral movement. So, I knew Andrew's shin guard was kind of messed up here, but check out that posture as he lands his foot down, mentally breaks a little bit. Um, and, mm, 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 mm. You fix it on the move, or you take it. You know, something you could do with this. Not that it's the only option, but something that I would do during this point is I would walk my butt off to the right here to give myself some more space. I would hang on, run it as a feint of sorts to get the other dude to stop trying to punch me in the face for a second. When he readjusts, stands right up, right next to me, right here. No lateral movement. Gets punched directly out of the ring. Dang, that's a point deduction, brother. And then fighting's got to cease. Bang. Alright. Okay, so straight line back. Once again, risking. This is a really sucky. Ooh, but then Andrew's able to stop that momentum, touches the leg. Awesome. And now he's able to you see how that yeah, look at this. Will gives a 3, 4 steps, exits just because he got his leg touched a little bit. That's awesome. Great reinforcement there. That you control the legs, you break somebody's base, you start to develop a sense of control. Pop. One step back. I know it's hard to see here, but you can see that Will stepped off, way off. And now Andrew has centering. Look at that. One touch to the leg. Very powerful stuff. Now getting short here. Check this out. I love this. I love what Andrew did here, and I don't know if he did it on purpose. I talked to him a little bit. Spoiler alert. I don't think he did it on purpose, but he did get short there, and his exact words were, I'm gonna mess with Will." Well, those weren't his exact words, but try not to swear. Right here, watch this. So he gets short, and then Will throws out two things, and then he says, Andrew punches the air, and then Will goes, I probably shouldn't punch you right now. Look at this time. And he says, I'm not coming down there with you. But guess what? He might not come down there with you. But that was like that was a good 14 seconds where Will did not try to punch Andrew in the face. I would say Andrew was dictating the pace at that point. And then when Will decides he wants to attempt some offense there, uh, Andrew touches his leg. Oh, hell. Look at that. So we're dictating the pace, we're dictating the rules of engagement. All right, all right. So when we buy ourselves time, we start touching legs. When we start getting people to back up, we start to control the clock. When we start to put our hand out there and set up dispositions or body language feints that get people worried, we're able to create time for ourselves to see, think. So let's see here. See, he has, look at Andrew's eyes. Look at that intent. You can tell that he's watching. That's really good stuff. You can see, he can think about what he wants to do and decide that he's going to counter strike. Excellent. Touches the glove. Now, something I could say here is you can kind of see, and there's a 50-pound weight difference, but you can, Andrew could have stuffed these punches harder and really gotten Will a little bit afraid of that. Maybe not afraid, but at least like psychologically slow him down. We're starting to get his hand on that jab real physical. Touches the glove. Once again, back to the leg. And then here, oof. Let's see. Does his best to control here, but Will's doing a great job getting some controls out there. So here, Andrew tries to strike, gets his hand. Ooh, wow, that's awesome. Great catch and shoot. I don't know if Will was consciously thinking that, but I was talking with my student the other day. You don't attack with where where you're where you want to, you attack what's given. Andrew approaches with that right hand here, commits his way to that front leg. Will gets his hand on the cross there and touches the leg all at the same time. That is high level. That is really high level positioning. Really high level catch and shoot. I mean, like if you're gonna be in an exchange, I mean that's pretty ideal. You block, you kick almost simultaneously. Let's see what happens. That immediately gets a control on the head right after. That's good stuff. And there's no counter, right? There's no counter to the counter. There's no answer back. That's good stuff. Punching at the air. Now we're starting to get into a little bit of a 50-50 here. Okay, now Andrew does a really smart thing here. He steps back out and away. Why? I don't know if it was on purpose, but I know for me, I feel mighty uncomfortable standing in a place where we're just clashing. We're just like kind of hand fighting with each other. It's kind of a sucky position. Like I don't like being in those exchanges where I have to react fully like on reflex. Like there are times and places for it. However, kind of living there, kind of awful. So yeah, well, Andrew does a great job taking a step back, and now they're outside of range of each other, and now they're a step out of engagement range, and they have time to see what's going on again. Which, yeah, good to staying on the jab again. Now, Will's posturing is great here if he wants to create a comfortable environment, and he kind of does because Andrew starts throwing. Yeah, I mean the hands down is it's achieving its job. However, you can kind of see right here. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Watch this! Watch this! Oh, you see that flex? You see that? So his arm goes up. Well, subconsciously now it's like, well, what the hell are you doing with that arm, man? And he's punching with it. Oh, unfortunate. And now hands down. I don't know. I won't harp on that too much. So Andrew's doing he's doing a really good job punching at the air. Ooh, 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 holy heck. Okay, so one touch to the leg will reset. Ooh, look at that reset. Oh no, his feet are together and Andrew is ready to work. Look at that. Head, shoulder, hips back, knees ready and bent. Feet, nice physical posture. Look at that. He resets, walks straight back in, takes it. Oh, and then like look at the delivery to that low kick. There's another thing about efficiency here. One, so watch this. He takes one, two, three steps. It's the three steps to that low kick. Andrew just kicks, right? So there's a thing to be said about kick delivery there. Three steps, too many steps. Mm. And then right from there, because he approaches with one, two, three, he's knocked off balance. Cross, jab. Wait, yep, there's the cross. Jab. Holy cow. Oh man, look at that. Look at that hip engagement. This is why it's important to practice your punch delivery on both sides. Andrew enters something called neutral stance here for a second, where his feet are basically perfectly like neutral relative to his opponent. And so he essentially throws two crosses at Will. Ooh, holy hell. Very physical punches. Maybe I should have deducted points for that. I don't know. But very physical. Pop, pop. And you throw your punches physical, it makes it real hard to punch back. He broke Will's posture. If you notice, Will was leaned back. Will does a good job there trying to disengage. I know, I'm sorry that my camera's stuttering. I've dropped my phone way too many times. And then on this next one, he goes, oh, two times and three times. All right, so coming back to the well too many times, man. If you're using it to set up some other things, you gotta understand. But, hang on, give me a second. My pet rat is trying to like pull shit out of the wall. Okay, and we're back. We come into the well too many times. If you know that someone's gonna try and set you, I mean, I know that if I try something more than twice, with certain people, they'll pick up. You're gonna pick up on it. There are certain physical cues you give off if you do something more than once, that you're gonna do it more than once. And when you do, people do a really great job of picking up on that if they've experienced fighting before. So tries to go jab, low kick, does it a second. Oof. Okay. So let's go back through that whole thing. So jab, right, low kick, jab, right, low kick, jab, bang. Okay, so that one, now right here, you can already see the setup starting. Andrew tries to get his hand on that, and pop. Damn, that's rough. Yeah, that's now. I love Ben over here. However, I don't know what fights he was watching because he was like he got hit with 20 low kicks. I'm like, what the hell, man? He got hit with like three. But that's besides the point. I'm just here to break this down. I'm not here to criticize the judges too much. Ben, all love. I hope you have a wonderful time in the Navy. Um, but yeah, man, as the ref, I was seeing shit that he wasn't seeing. He just, I don't know, man. It's fine. Going right through. All right, let's see the approach here. Okay. So now Andrew approaches tall, but then he gets short again. Interest. Now he walks off to the right, and what does Will have to do? He has to readjust to face him. He just has to. Like, do you see all these extra steps he's taking to face him? Wonderful. And then when he gets ready to throw that low kick, that's what. Well, okay, so Will's ready to defend, but punches at the air, teeps at the air. Hmm. Well, that's the thing about targeting it here is you gotta make an adjustment. You gotta save yourself. With Andrew's kicks here, Will's not ready to defend them, but Andrew's also not throwing them high enough. So he's gotta in training, he needs the visualization and the intent of hitting someone in the thigh. Okay. Or at least the side of the knee. I mean, I wouldn't kick someone in the side of the knee during sparring. I maybe would do it once or twice to let him know, like, dude, you're messing up, man. Like, this would hurt, but not that hard. I do it with love, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So it keeps the leg. Look at that, stopped in place. That is what leg teeps are for. Oh, hell yeah. We'll try to get it back, but Andrew was just physical about it. It was good. That was good stuff. Andrews just kind of stops a little too soon. Like if watch this. So right here. So watch. So Andrew kind of gets stationary here for a second, and Will starts with that low kick. If Andrew started just like triple jab, flies off to his right here, does something, that kick would have been nowhere near him. But he stops his lateral movement just a little too soon. Oh, yeah, this was good. Like you can't, it's hard to see because the camera stutters here. But watch this. He's gonna take his left foot first to the left, And then, do you see that direction change? He starts here, pushes off, goes off to his right. It's a great direction change feint. And Will follows him a little bit there. That's good stuff. Yeah, and then he's off back in the other direction. Great direction changes there on Andrew's part. That's good stuff that we work on in drills. That's really good stuff. Oof. But then he stops moving, unfortunately. Now, if he kept moving, he'd have a great time here, right? So, like, Will would have, oof, Will would have been hard pressed to find a target. But good stuff nonetheless. Good stuff. Keep doing that, Andrew. Keep running your direction change feints. That's good stuff. Catches the jab, punches the air. Ooh, Andrew, good stuff punching the air. Let's go back here, take a look at Will's positioning. So great punching for there on Andrew's part. You don't need to hit somebody in order to create effect, right? That's good stuff. Now Will blitzing into a corner here. Once again, Andrew walking over to your right or left could have stopped that. So like let's look at the angle that he approaches on. So right here. Will is beginning to initiate offense. Andrew ends up circling off to the right. He threw out some jabs and circled out to his left on the other hand. Look, Will would have been forced to turn toward him. This entire blitz would be completely and totally nullified, just like gone. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, nothing to say about that. I mean, that's the only real positional thing. Like, let's see, from Will's point of view, let's see if is there anything that I think Will's thing is, I mean, he did a great job directing Andrew where he wanted him to go. And he's blitz. That's a tough blitz. That was a tough blitz. Now Andrew starts to jab at the air with lateral movement, and now we're gonna see. Oh yeah, so now Will has a hard time getting started when Andrew's able to get control of the air in his gloves and legs. Great. But now Andrew just kind of stands here in this corner. Ah, Andrew, come on, man. You got to disengage. Like, finish your disengagement, my guy. Yeah, unfortunate. Unfortunate stuff. But it goes how it goes, right? Alright. Okay. So then oof, bad. That's a tough physical low kick. Oof, that would have hurt if we weren't wearing shin guards. Would have really hurt. Okay, so we're here. Up, up. Ooh, and he hits the unpadded part of the leg. That sucks. Yeah. So we're here. Andrew's next job is to really be to like regain his bearings because he just got messed up. Ooh, but then you know what? Not that choice. So there are a lot of ways to problem solve in fighting. That's one way to get some dude to stop following you is to hit him. That's good stuff. And then he disengages off, but then he stops moving. That's the center. Awesome. Now he has space to work. You can see now he's got space to work. He's got space to step back and away from kicks. Good stuff. Walking right back in. That's a tough thing. Is like Will's doing a great job using the combination of the leg deep and the right low kick to kind of work as a system of damage and then control. So he's posting on that leg using his own leg. That's good stuff. But nothing actually. It's just good stuff. I mean, he's using it a lot and it's working. He just keeps using the thing that's working. Uh, But the approach is the same as the last round. He gets short again. Interesting that now Andrew gets real tall. Okay, so one of the big things about Will that told everybody was that his pace changes were that he struggles with pace changes. He struggles when you change your pace. Andrew did it over the course of 3 rounds slowly, maybe intuitively, but if you had started setting the car 20 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, back to 40 miles per hour, up to 100 miles per hour, Will would have freaked out. You can even see here when Andrew like punches at the air and then goes for the offense, like Will isn't ready for like the mental switch ups of like what he has to do next. Using his feet. Now his footwork's warmed up, but then Andrew just kind of waits in the corner from the, and his defense isn't as physical as I would have liked. It's reactive. It's yeah, I, it's not quite as physical as I would like. That's something we can work on in training. We're doing a really good job here with this pace here. In, out. Now, just the issue with the in, out, bounce in, bounce out is that you get punished. You get punished if you don't have some defense on top of it. Bouncing and committing that front leg. Maybe from an intent point of view, first Will needs to recognize he's getting hit with that right low kick, and then think to yourself, look, I don't want to get hit with that anymore. So from an intent point of view, what'll naturally subconsciously happen if he makes the choice not to get hit with those kicks anymore is he'll stop putting himself in position to get hit with those kicks, which means he'll stop committing his weight forward. But I don't know if that was what was on Will's mind. Uh, it's important. So as I said in the first round, defense is an effort statistic. So if you choose you don't want to get hit with something, you can choose not to get hit with something. And I know that's a weird like thing to say, like just do. And I'm not saying just like be better. I'm saying make a choice. You've done enough training at this point where if you want to like not get hit with low kicks, you might get hit with some other stuff, and then we'll deal with that when that comes. But if you make the choice that you don't want to get hit with something, you don't have to get hit with something. So, you know, so just go high here, posturing battle, good stuff. Will punches at the air here. Let's see. Andrew's posturing. So he's moving, then he stops moving. One, two, three. Yeah, so the 3 second rule, like that's important too. Um, so the 3 second rule is you don't stand in front of a dude for like more than 3 seconds unless you're doing something important. So let's look at the top clock. So he stops moving at 58, right? 158. You can see up here in the time. It's 158. 57, 156, 155. But he stood there too long, gave his opponent time to set up and get ready for that kick. So you gotta disengage. You gotta disengage, man. Nothing's happening. There's nothing for you here. You gotta move. Great. Now he's throwing that. Oof. Oof. Did a good job getting that left low kick out there. First time I've seen him throw that all match. It's good to have options, right? Punches the air, but gets a hand on himself physically. Boom. All right, so we can score that exchange. Here's one kick, catches the jab, two kicks, but then he gets a control in his face, so that's 2-1. Hold. And then three physical touches from Andrew. Um, about one from Will, but then he gets out, so it's like 3-2. There's a wash, it's a little bit of a wash, but Andrew does come out on top, technically in that exchange. High hand wins. Will's hand is higher right there. And, and yep, I mean, he's just able to just push him the fuck out of the ring. Let's take a look here. So let's look at what happened. So the disposition, right? So going from like neutral and like disengaged to straight in. Look at the range. Look at this goddamn. Oh my God. First of all, both of you, 10 fucking burpees right now. Do you see this posture? Now, this one is on purpose, but here, oof, oof, oof. Dude, no, too many steps on that switch. Oh, goodness. And it makes Andrew slow. Takes 2 steps for him to get to his stance. And now a third step to get to that kick. No. So you don't have time. You're not set up, right? You see that? We go back here. Let's rewatch that. Let's watch. So bang. Xavier. Which foot does Xavier's got? No, takes his front foot first, and then takes his front foot first, then loads that low kick. Bang. Set two. So that switch is acceptable. That was about as fast as it possibly could have happened. Now we're here, right? Do you see that? So watch this switch right after the right cut kick. So we're here. He lands. Now watch. One, two, 3 steps. And guess what? Dude, Will was basically standing normally, so he had to reestablish his base, then go for that punch, right? Andrew took 3 steps to do so and unfortunately was caught out of position. Up, up. Just efficiency of movement, small things that we fix in training. Up, up. Yeah, Andrew does his best, but he's out of there. So Will ends up getting the better of that exchange, gaining control of the air. Andrew does a great thing here, getting real tall. Will's forced to respect it to disengage first before going in. Uh, oh. So, Andrew doing a good job punching in the air here, but again, the lack of pace changes. Although you can see, right, Will's having a hard time approaching. He checks the time. Now, my dude, Andrew, my dude, love you, but up until this point, I believe the score is something like 10-9. Literally, like strikes landed slightly in Will's favor. Um, Usually we try not to leave shit to the judges if we can. Like we really want to make sure that it's pretty fucking obvious that we won. And that's part of what we're in. We're in a sport. We have to make sure the judges know who won. The posturing here from from Will, like if you're doing it on purpose, that's one thing. Yeah, and that's fine. Um, just make sure that like when the judges score it, you're pretty damn sure it's a unanimous decision. Like we really don't want to be eking out a minor win, right? We kind of want the other person leaving, going, "Damn, you kind of sucked." But that's more a matter of clock control for our opponent. If even if they land none and we land once, we still win the fight. But how did we get to that one? Was it like one in a bunch of flailing, or was it one shot that was clearly set up and you really were kind of helpless to reposition yourself better over 2 minutes? Like, was it clear that I manipulated you into that one? Yeah, I mean, it's just the thing about scoring. Give me 1 second. What the fuck? My pet rats are running around causing chaos. That's okay, I'll ignore it for now. Got a minute left here. Great posturing battle. Um, let's look at that kick. Just look at that weight. The weight is forward, doesn't get his hand on that kick real physical. And look at that weight. Ooh, he's just sitting down. And then look at that kick. Look at the kick delivery here too. So you can even see, like, oh, the kick delivery is fine, but yeah, I mean, Andrew just stepping in, committing a little too hard on that. Okay, landing that left kick delivery is good stuff, man. And that's a wrap, man. Good stuff, and then we end up it's a big well ends up coming out on top there. Yeah. Whew, good fun match, man.